Thank you for being here today. Today we're announcing this operation that started well over a year ago. And it sort of reminds me of Christmas 2021. Just before Christmas of 2021, I stood in a room of residents from this community that brought a number of complaints, open drug sales, prostitution in their neighborhoods. And on Christmas Day, you know, it sort of felt in my heart because I was in a place where I didn't really see it, and I knew people here in this neighborhood felt every bit of it because they lived it every day, and I understand what their complaints were, and we responded to them. So over a year, we've got our major narcotics unit, and Lieutenant Joe Herb is here representing them today. They initiated an investigation. A lot of resources went into that investigation. Our mayor's here today, our Honorable Mayor Keith James, and the commission that supported us and gave us the resources to do this investigation, which required a lot. And because of this, we're announcing the 27 arrests of these individuals that you see, 15 of which are looking at some charges that's going to probably end up, and if I remember hearing our State Attorney Dave Aronberg just mentioned, up to 60 years in prison. 60 years in prison.
Excuse me if I may.
Hold on one second. And then we took this back to the community. And a lot of the community leaders are here today. They're the ones that helped us initiate this case. They're the ones that their complaints weren't ignored, and we responded to them. And just 4 days before we did this investigation, I again stood in another room of people complaining. Unfortunately, I couldn't tell them on Wednesday night that Saturday was going to be a big change in this neighborhood because it was a confidential investigation. So hold on one second, ma'am. We'll give you a chance. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to our Honorable Mayor, Keith James.
Thank you, Chief, and what a wonderful day this is. As Chief said, this investigation began because residents were complaining, and law enforcement, the police department under the Chief's leadership listened, and I'm so proud of this day. I've always said since I was campaigning for office back in 2018, public safety is job number one for anyone who wants to be mayor of a city. Every neighborhood, every community deserves to be safe and secure, and this is an example of my administration's commitment to ensuring that every neighborhood, no matter the zip code, no matter the quadrant of the city, deserves to be safe and secure, and we as law enforcement under my leadership and under the Chief's leadership will do everything we can to ensure that the bad guys know that this is not a place to do business in our city. So again, thank you, Chief. Thanks to all of those involved. I know we were working with some other law enforcement agencies. Thanks to all of them for the collaborative effort. And I want our citizens to know, I want our neighborhoods to know that we hear you, and we will continue to work hard to ensure that your neighborhood, no matter where it is in the city, your neighborhood is a safe and secure neighborhood. Thank you, Chief.
I'm Dave Aronberg, State Attorney for Palm Beach County. I'm honored to be here. My friend, Chief Adderley, also Mr. Mayor James, thank you for your great work and for your team. Chief Morris, I see Lieutenant Herb, and so many others from West Palm Beach PD. You have an outstanding team. We have a great working relationship, and I want to recognize a few people from my office who've been working on this matter. Mike Ryan has been the lead prosecutor on this. He's with our organized crime unit. Also, Emily Walters, who couldn't be here today. She's done an outstanding job. And the chief of the unit is Diva Casas. They've worked tirelessly with members of the West Palm Beach Police Department to lead to this moment. I also want to recognize West Palm Beach Police because this is the second time that there's been a long-term racketeering investigation that's led to major arrests within the last 3 years. And if you are wondering how many years these defendants are facing, we're talking about 32 defendants. And my prosecutors say that now they're up to 29 arrests. Of the 32, 16 are facing RICO charges. That's the racketeering charges, which can get you up to 60 years in prison. And so if you just deal with the racketeering charges alone, we're talking about 960 years in prison. And that doesn't count the other charges which these individuals are facing. And then for the others, we're talking about drug trafficking, drug purchasing, gun charges, resisting arrest. We are talking about hundreds and hundreds of charges against these individuals, because the goal is to make our community safer. And doing Operation Blockbuster is a major step in that direction. It is fitting that we are here on National Fentanyl Awareness Day. This is an important day where we are here to confront the #1 drug crisis that this country has ever faced. There has never been a drug like fentanyl in our country. It now kills more people under the age of 50 than car accidents, than cancer, than anything else, heart disease. And in Palm Beach County, fentanyl is present in 95% of all opioid overdose deaths. Fentanyl is found in 67% of all drug overdose deaths nationwide. So this is an unprecedented epidemic. The opioid epidemic has become a fentanyl epidemic. So what we're doing here today is really important, because the individuals that are charged here were allegedly selling fentanyl to the community, poisoning our community, leading to so many untimely deaths. You can hear the pain by individuals in the community. And the goal of Operation Blockbuster is to make our community safer by eliminating the criminal activity, the criminal business on this street. We want to treat the crime syndicate on this street and make them as defunct as Blockbuster Video is nationally. Although I think they have one store left in Oregon, but not here in Palm Beach County. But I just want to thank law enforcement, because it is our partnership with law enforcement that has led to this day. Thank you.
Thank you. We got a few of the community leaders here. I think Ms. Barnes is here. I'm going to tell you, please come up here and join me. Michael Oldham, a couple other people. They're part of this discussion and helping us when we initiated this case, and I'm pretty sure their story definitely speaks volumes. But here's where we are. We take this group of people that were responsible for the distribution of fentanyl in this neighborhood. Let me tell you how bad this thing is. In the last year, 54 people died of overdose in this particular neighborhood. 54. And I think the total of 150 overdose, particularly right here in this neighborhood. So this is a bad thing that's been happening in our neighborhood, and now we're coming together, and it's this partnership with the people that live here that's going to make us successful. We're going to work with the community here, and our next step here is to prevent the next group from coming, because the word is out now that this group is gone. May be gone for the next 60 years, and they know that this particular location is a hotbed for the distribution of fentanyl. And we're going to work with the community. I think we got a number of resources now. We got PSC is the security company along Broadway. We got community people that are communicating with us on a daily basis. When we are asking them, when you see something, send it to us, because now Safer Watch is very active in this community. We got people that have downloaded the Safer Watch app on their phones, and we're asking them if they see something, please send that information to us. Send us your videos, send us your photographs. We're going to definitely direct our resources to deal with them, and we're going to make a strong stance. But I believe it's the community people that stand with us and the business people that's going to help us make a positive change. So we're open for any questions you hear that you may have. Yes, go ahead.
Can you just go over the number of arrests again and RICO charges? Because I thought you said 32.
I want to make sure I got the number right, and I'll bring
Sure.
up the state attorney.
Sure. I was just talking to Diva Casas, and she said that the latest number is 29 arrests total. There are 32 individuals who are defendants, and there are 16 RICO arrests. So 16 of those defendants are facing RICO charges. Those are the most serious charges. Each RICO charge can get you up to 60 years. But within those 16, amongst those 16 individuals, they are not only facing the RICO charges, they're facing a total of 107 total counts against just those 16 individuals.
Have any of the family members come forth of those who have passed away from fentanyl and have brought lawsuits because of the drug deals?
Not that we're aware of. I don't know if any of the other agencies have that information, but I personally am not aware of it. But that definitely would be a big question. I'm pretty sure, our federal partners are definitely the DEA and the FBI looking to do those type of investigations, and we're going to cooperate with them 100%.
You mentioned that there's 32 people total, but 29 total arrests. Are there people that are still at large?
Yes, we still have some people at large that we're still looking to take into custody.
Chief, I'm curious if we could hear from some of the folks that are in this neighborhood how they feel when they see that you are proactive in trying to take
Who wants to do that? Anyone?
Hello.
I'll let Ms. Barnes do the honors.
Hi, good afternoon.
Can you say your name and spell?
Denise Smith Barnes. Okay.
Smith Barnes?
Barnes. What we feel, I can speak for Pinewood Park and pretty much the Northwood, the whole North End, because we all suffer from the same issues. And once an area is cleared out, then we end up getting those runaways who escaped from that last might be a SWAT or a cleanup that the police have done in the city, and they're moving north, or they're moving from the west, from Belglade, over to the north, because they assume that they can sit here for a while and nothing can be done. But from my experience over 30 years of being an activist, I've learned that once our department says we're looking into it, we got it, just leave it alone. I knew within 3 or 4 months, there will be a plethora of arrests being done. So that really gives us hope for a lot of the residents who've moved away or feel like moving away and feeling that nothing is being done. Today, and really a couple of weeks now, especially today, I saw some extra activity on 36. So I went sending photos to my other community leaders, like, look, something is happening here at this location. So it gives us hope that there is something. We're not being ignored.
You know, a lot of times we hear people in the community don't speak up. They're kind of scared, but that's not the case here.
Well, I can tell you, back in, I would say 5-10 years ago, no one would speak up because they just felt like they would be ignored, or no one is listening. They didn't care about us on the North End.
Or retaliation?
Right. And right now, some of it would be retaliation. You probably would see a little bit more residents here who actually call in, but they're afraid of retaliation. But like I always tell them, if you do nothing, you say nothing, then these guys who are coming out of someone else's neighborhood into our tax-paid neighborhood feel that this is the haven for them. And they group up. Honestly, they group up. I'm see it 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, they group up. I get on the phone and I make a phone call.
Okay. You want?
I would like to.
Go ahead.
Hello everyone. My name is Whitney Jean. I am co-chair of the North End Coalition of Neighborhoods, and I actually live right here in the neighborhood. I just really want to thank Chief and the entire team for the wonderful job they're doing. When I first moved here, this was a very big issue. I mean, it still is, but I am just so happy that something's being done about it, and we are not being ignored, like Ms. Barnes said. We are always open, and CON is, an organization that works very closely with our PD, to kind of get, to get a lot of movement into making this neighborhood and quality life issues safer and better for all of us. And so thank you, Chief. Thank you, Mayor James and, Mr. Aronberg. and you know, that's it.
Why do you think it's happening now, that something's being done now and not before?
Just, you know, timing and for the, you know, the fact that the community is not letting it rest. We're not letting this go. We won't be intimidated or, you know, ran out of our homes. You know, this is a beautiful city and with plenty of opportunities for young and old alike. And so, you know, we won't be ran away. You know, like I said, we are invested here. And so, you know, we're going to stand fast and keep working with everyone to make it good for us.
It brings you hope?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. A lot of hope. You know, I'm just so glad that, you know, we can see movement and we can continue to cooperate and collaborate with, you know, everyone in the city to make this greater for us.
In your eyes, what was the biggest issue? Was it gun violence, drugs?
You know, wherever there is drugs, everything else follows. And so it's always a combination of all of these things, you know. It's really sad that, you know, our kids can't just go out and play. Like, you know, in days of the past, you know, people were able to just kind of sit and watch kids play. But we don't want our kids going out because we don't want them seeing, you know, drug deals taking place or prostitution or everything else that comes with it. And so I'm just really elated.
Chief, can you tell us a little bit about the house behind us? I think someone mentioned that this is kind of the epicenter of it all.
Yes, both houses, 25 and 21, 625 and 621.
No, sir. I live at 625.
Is this 25 too? Okay,
Yes.
it's these two.
We're not affiliated with that. Unfortunately, no. Please
Okay.
let me have my chance.
Oh, no, hold on a second. She has another question. You'll get your chance. So yeah, this is the main house here. And on every Friday, Saturday night, one of the busiest nights of the week, you had a lot of traffic in and out of this particular location. And this was the centerpiece. And you know, we say Blockbuster, but it definitely affects other areas in this neighborhood. When Ms. Barnes can attest to that because she lives further south here. But this is more of a neighborhood event that was taking place. Blockbuster because it started here in this block, but it expanded throughout this neighborhood.
So when you went, addresses again, I'm sorry.
Yeah, hold on one second. You get to speak. Hold on a second.
The addresses again, please.
It's the 621 address, right behind us.
But not the 625.
No.
And was it when you went inside that you found the drugs? And the
No,
guns,
this
or-
started a undercover operation that started back in December of 2021.
Can my voice
Paul.
not be heard?
Hold on one second.
Okay. Well, my name is Paul Nelson, and my wife and I recently purchased a year and a half ago Northwood Funeral Home right down the street off Broadway. And for us, we're not only business owners here in the neighborhood, but we're residents. We live above the funeral home. So it's really important to us. We give our all to the families that we are serving, including families that are losing loved ones from this fentanyl. But it's equally important that they're able to pull up to a safe property and a safe funeral home and feel like they can leave their car parked outside, not see all the prostitution and all the stuff that's happening off this street. So for us, we're very excited. I hope we continue it. I hope it doesn't fade away. I think having a presence here is deterring a lot of what we're seeing on a day-to-day basis. So.